For today's legendary article, we will be talking about a classic endodontic study that was done in 1965 by Kakehashi et al. And published in the O journal. The title is The Effects of Surgical Exposures of Dental Pulps in Germ-Free and Conventional Laboratory Rats. Now, one of the reasons why we picked this article is that it forms the absolute foundation of understanding disease processes in endodontics. Secondly, this article has been cited over 3,100 times, making it one of the most cited endodontic articles of all time. So let's get to it. The study design was very interesting. What they had planned was to have histological sections of two populations of rats all the way from day 1 to day 45 after creating surgical pulpal exposures in their first molars. Now, the first group of rats was the regular group of rats that was exposed to germs just like normal rats are, or rather like normal humans are. They're given normal diets and everything. The second group of rats was very interesting. They were a germ-free series of rats, also known as nautobiotic. That's nauto with G. So these nautobiotic rats are raised in an environment where there is absolutely no microorganisms that they are exposed to, right? Not oral, not in their oral environment, nothing. And they are given the same food as the others. Now, what they noted was really interesting. They saw that in the germ rats, that's the first group, there was a normal progression of disease or pulpitis from the bacterial level. The bacteria invaded the pulps where the food and the substrate was. There was pulpitis, hyperemia, pulp necrosis, periapical inflammation, followed by tenderness, and all of those subjective and histological signs. And basically, they saw a coronoapical, progression of the disease, much like what we know as a conventional form of pulpitis. And there was a lot of histological information that was gained by sacrificing rats from day 1 to day 45. What's super interesting is that the nautobiotic rat series, or the second group that had absolutely no microorganisms, showed almost no inflammation apart from the trauma caused by the pulpal exposure. Apart from that, on the 7th day, 14th day and 28th day, they could see significant signs of healing. And by the 28th day, because of the absence of germs, there was no inflammation and there was dentinal bridging. Now that gave a lot of interesting ideas because that built on what Seltzer and Bender had earlier talked about the regenerative capacity of the pulp. Secondly, it talked about the time period that was required in order to make a dentinal bridge. And thirdly, it established that the most important thing when it comes to restorations and when it comes to treating the pulp is being able to create a perfect seal that is resistant to microorganisms. So there you have it, the legendary article by Kakehashi et al. In 1965.